Hi everyone, this is Alex from Lincoln Park Library, and this week's How To Tuesday, I will be showing you how I made a paperback pumpkin. So it's a really fun, great fall project. You can do it with multiple books of different sizes. So pretty much what you're going to need material-wise, you're going to need a paperback book. It's best if it's a well-loved book. You can go, to Goodwill. You can go to like a thrift store. If you have one sitting at home, that would be great. But anything that's easily bendable, kind of softer pages is easier to work with. So that's what I suggest for the book. You'll also need an X-Acto knife or a crafting knife or sharp scissors. You can use any of these three to cut out the pumpkin shape. You'll also need glue. I find that hot glue is the best, but you can use any kind of glue that you have on hand. I used a cork for the stem. You can substitute any of these with things that you think would fit better or things that you have at home, but I used a cork for this. I also used an orange marker. You can also use orange paint. And then any kind of decorative craft supplies. So this includes like ribbons, twine, glitter, yarn, anything like that. So anything that you have on hand, you can definitely make it work for this. So for step one, what I did, you can see in the top left corner over here, here's a book that I used for one of them. So what you want to do first is you want to remove those front and back covers of the small paperbacks. You're going to rip off that front cover, rip off the back one. And then what you want to do next, you want to create the pumpkin shape. So what I did, I kind of just did, a freehand pumpkin shape here. You can make it any size that you want. You can use a template that you can print off online if you just, type in pumpkin template or, paperback pumpkins. They have different templates you can download and print out. That's fine too. That's what you'll use as, your base for cutting it. Or if you want to just freehand it like I did, you can also do that. That's fine. So you're going to cut the book using the X-Acto knife or the crafting knife. You can also use a pair of scissors if that's easier for you, but you would just do it, in groups of pages at a time. I found that the crafting knife that I used was really simple and really quick. So I definitely suggest that or the X-Acto knife, but if you're uncomfortable using them or if you don't have them, scissors are also fine. An important thing to note, definitely make sure that you trim the edges to keep them as even as possible. When I was making this for the first time, I definitely did not do that, and I had a lot of straggly pieces, which you can see here, and I tried to even them out, but as you're doing it the first time cutting through, I think take your time, be careful, and just, try to make it as even as possible at the start because then it's less to clean up later, which is what I found. For step two, using the glue that you're going to use, I used hot glue. You want to seal the front and back page together. So those pages that were right next to the front and back covers that you ripped off, those two, if you see up in the top left corner, I glued those two together. And then what you want to do next is when you add the color, so you can add as much or as little as you want, that's up to you. I used an orange, just like, water resistant marker. I just used that and I drew on the sides of the book like this. So I just went and I applied it as much as I wanted. I went back and added more later on actually, even though I thought that this was going to look very dark. Once all these pages fan out, it's harder to see, much harder to see all of the orange. So I actually went back and added even more. That's up to you if you want to do that at all. You don't have to. I just thought it gave it a nice little, orange tint, which was fun. I've also seen people online, they've used spray paint or like the canister paint to apply a light coat over the entire pumpkin, which also looks really pretty. I didn't have that on hand, but I think that would be fun to do definitely for the next project. I've also seen them do, a little light one of orange and then like a metallic gold over it too, which looks really nice. So for step three, this is kind of when you're starting to fluff the pumpkin out. So you're going to begin by fanning the pages and you're kind of just going to start bending them. You want to fill those gaps. You can see up here in the top left corner, I have some larger gaps in some areas. So what I did, I took where they were clustered together and I kind of just bent them and, you have to play around with it. If you can't make any of the gaps smaller, what you can do is add glue between the pages and you can lightly press them together, which I had to do for some of them. So I would put the glue, in a line down here, and then I would press these two together so that they'd come together. And I might have to do that for a couple of them in a row, but I found that that definitely really helps. This is also a great time to start trimming any of the jagged edges for a cleaner look, which you can see here. I still had some of these, little tiny jagged edges. Some of them are uneven. I had some parts sticking out. Trim that as best as you can. If you want like a messier, more rustic look, you don't have to do that. That's up to you. But if you want a cleaner look, you can, continue to trim as you go along. So for step 4, this is when we're doing the stem. So what I did, I just hot glued, you can see here, I just hot glued the cork to the top. And you can use either end, whatever end it sits better on, I would have as the bottom. So kind of test it out, flip it upside down. So for mine, because it was very uneven, it didn't sit well on either side. So what I had to do, I cut a square of cardboard, which you can see in the bottom left corner here. I cut a little square of cardboard and I hot glued that to the bottom. And then it sat, perfectly fine. Couldn't really see it either once it was sitting on it, but otherwise it would not have sat, level at all. So I had to do that. So if you have cardboard on hand, I would definitely use that if it's not sitting correctly. Okay, and then step 5 is the finishing round. So that's when you're going to start adding your ribbon. You can do twine, glitter, yarn, any kind of decorative elements you want to your pumpkin. So what I had done, I have a strip of twine right here that you can see that I did a little bow. I also have some ribbon here, and I had like some fall ribbon, some fall leaves. So I took that, I wrapped 2 strands around, and I played around with it. I cut the ends and then I glued them together. I had some glittery, I guess that would be yarn that I put on top. I was cutting up things and putting them together, but anything that you have on hand, you can use. Anything, fall related, and all looks great. I wish I added more glitter to mine personally, but you can definitely put some glitter and paint, or if you have any glitter paint, I think it would be really pretty to paint some of the pages over like the orange marker. I think that would look really pretty, but really anything that you have on hand would be great. But yeah, that's how you make a paperback pumpkin. It's pretty simple. It's definitely very fun to do. I think, if you make multiple different sizes, that would be super cute. I think the important thing to take away from this, if you're going to make it, is make sure you get a paperback that is soft enough to do this, because for this one here, I used one, if you can see, the pages are pretty crisp still. It wasn't an older or well-loved paperback, so it was kind of harder to work with because, the pages don't want to fan out as well. It's harder to cut through. I think I do like, a non-yellowed pumpkin. Not that it really matters because you're going to be adding color to it anyway. But I think if you use a well-loved, paperback, I think it's probably easier to put this together. So that's the one thing that I would suggest after, completing these and playing around with them. That's definitely the one thing that I would say look out for. But yeah, thank you for listening. I really enjoyed making it. If you guys make them, I would love to see them. If you want to bring them in to our satellite location, or if you want to email me, you can reach out. I can give you my email. I would love to see your creations. So thanks so much. Have a great day.